Every single day is a quiet invitation to rise, not through pressure, but through presence. In Buddhism, self-improvement isn't about chasing a flawless version of yourself. It's about waking up to who you truly are, underneath the noise. It's the art of returning again and again to stillness, to awareness, to intentional living. You don't need to overhaul your life in a single leap. Real transformation happens subtly, in the way you begin your mornings, the choices you make when no one is watching, the thoughts you choose to water. Growth in this path is not loud, it's deliberate, gentle, powerful. If you've ever longed to get better, not by doing more, but by doing what truly matters, these 7 daily practices will guide you. One breath, one decision, one mindful step at a time. 1. Build a morning that builds you. The way you begin your morning shapes the way your entire day unfolds. In Buddhist wisdom, the first thoughts, actions and feelings you experience when you wake up act like seeds. What you plant in that first hour will grow throughout the rest of your day. If you wake up in a rush, grabbing your phone, checking notifications and jumping straight into stress, you're allowing the outside world to control your mind before you've even had a chance to center yourself. The result? You move through the day feeling overwhelmed, scattered and disconnected from your purpose. Instead, treat the morning as a sacred space, a time to build yourself from the inside out. Begin by waking up slowly. Let your eyes adjust. Let your breath come naturally and deeply. Sit in silence, even if just for a minute or two, to listen to yourself. Notice how you feel physically, mentally, and emotionally. This pause gives you the power to respond to life instead of reacting to it. Then move your body in some gentle way. You don't need an intense workout. Just stretch, walk, or practice a few yoga poses. Movement awakens your energy and reconnects your mind to your body. After that, feed your mind something meaningful. Read a few pages from a spiritual book. Listen to peaceful music. Journal your thoughts. Say a short prayer or affirmation. These small acts nourish your inner world before the demands of the outer world begin. Think of your morning like laying the first brick in a foundation. If the first brick is placed with care, the rest of the structure will be strong. A mindful morning doesn't need to be long or complicated. What matters is that it's intentional. Don't build a morning that leaves you drained, distracted, or disoriented. Build a morning that fills you with clarity, calm, and quiet power. In Buddhism, right intention leads to right action. When you create a morning that supports your soul, your actions throughout the day become more focused, peaceful, and purposeful. That's how you get better. Not by chasing time, but by starting each day from a place of centered strength. In today's world, most people wake up and immediately feel overwhelmed by everything they think they need to do. Their minds jump from one task to another. Emails, messages, deadlines, goals, errands, expectations. It's like trying to juggle 50 balls at once. No wonder people feel scattered, exhausted, and unfocused before the day even begins. But Buddhism teaches us to simplify the mind. There's a concept called ekaggata, which means one-pointedness or single-minded focus. Instead of trying to do everything, do one thing with full attention. Instead of starting your day with chaos, begin it with clarity. Ask yourself, what is one intention I want to carry with me today? Not 10 goals, not a checklist, just one powerful, meaningful intention. It could be something simple, like, today I will remain calm, or today I will speak kindly, or today I will focus on finishing one task with full attention. When you choose one intention and hold it in your heart, it becomes like a compass. It keeps you on track when distractions arise. It helps you say no to what doesn't matter and yes to what truly does. This one intention doesn't mean you won't do other things, but it gives your actions direction and depth. Imagine walking through a forest with no path versus walking with a clear trail in front of you. That's the power of a single focused intention. It clears the mental noise and gives your energy purpose. When you set too many goals at once, your mind becomes divided. You might get a little done in many directions, but not enough to feel real progress. But when you set one clear intention, you channel all your energy like a focused beam of light. You move with purpose instead of pressure. You begin to feel aligned, not just busy. So instead of trying to conquer everything today, pause and ask, what one thing truly matters? Then let that be your guide. One strong intention can accomplish more than 50 scattered tasks. 3. Break the pattern, don't break yourself. There are times in life when we feel stuck, trapped in the same routines, overwhelmed by the same thoughts, reacting to life in the same old ways. We start waking up tired, moving through the day with low energy, repeating habits that don't serve us, and ending the day feeling frustrated or unfulfilled. When this happens, many people blame themselves. They think they're lazy, weak, or broken. But the truth is, you're not broken, your patterns are. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that suffering arises from unconscious habits. We keep doing the same things and expecting different results. But growth doesn't come from self-punishment, it comes from awareness. When you feel stuck or unhappy, the solution isn't to push harder or beat yourself up. It's to gently break the pattern that's holding you down. For example, if you always start your day by scrolling your phone, try sitting in silence instead. If you always react with anger, try pausing to breathe before responding. If you always fill your schedule with tasks, try doing less with more presence. These small interruptions in your usual behavior are powerful. They create space for something new to emerge, space for peace, clarity, and choice. In Buddhism, this idea connects to paticcasamuppada, or dependent origination. It means everything arises because of something else. Your anxiety, your habits, your reactions, they are not random. They are the result of patterns that you can interrupt and reshape. You are not stuck forever, but you do need to recognize the loop you're in. Breaking a pattern doesn't require drastic change. It requires conscious change. One small shift in how you speak, move, think, or respond can lead to a new cycle, one that supports your growth instead of sabotaging it. And when that new pattern becomes your normal, you rise without force. You evolve without self-harm. So the next time you feel like you're losing control, don't turn against yourself. Don't try to break yourself in order to change. Instead, step back, observe, breathe, ask, what pattern am I in, and how can I gently break it today? You'll be amazed how a small change in your rhythm can create a big change in your reality. In modern life, we're taught to measure everything by time, how many hours we work, how many minutes we meditate, how quickly we respond, how long something takes. But Buddhism teaches a deeper truth. Time is not the most important thing. Energy is. You can spend all day working on something and make very little progress. Or you can be fully present and focused for just 1 hour and get more done than you thought possible. Think about it. Have you ever had a day where you had so much time but you still couldn't focus? You kept scrolling, procrastinating, or getting distracted. And have you ever had a short window of time where you were fully energized and did something amazing? That's the difference between managing your time and managing your energy. In Buddhism, presence is everything. The more present and aware you are, the more powerful your energy becomes. If you're always exhausted, stressed, or distracted, even 8 hours won't help you grow. But if you take care of your energy, if you listen to your body, calm your mind, and protect your focus, then even a short period of effort can lead to real transformation. Start by paying attention to how your energy moves throughout the day. When do you feel most alive and clear? For some, it's early in the morning. For others, it might be mid-afternoon or late at night. Notice the rhythms of your energy and work with them, not against them. Use your high-energy times to do your most important work or your deepest thinking. Use your low-energy times to rest, reflect, or move gently. Also, look at what drains your energy. Is it certain people, environments, or habits? Is it trying to do too much at once? You may think you're being productive, but if your energy is scattered, you're not really growing. You're just busy. And being busy doesn't always mean being better. Buddhism encourages us to protect our inner peace, to guard our attention like it's sacred, because it is. So stop trying to squeeze more hours into your day. Instead, ask, where is my energy right now? Focus on tasks that match your current state. If you're calm and focused, go deep. If you're tired, pause and recover. This is how you align with life instead of forcing it. When you learn to track your energy instead of just your time, you'll find that you get more done, feel more fulfilled and grow faster, not by rushing but by aligning. It's not about how long you work. It's about how deeply you show up in the moment. That's the Buddhist way to upgrade your life, moment by moment, breath by breath, with full awareness and care. 5. Audit your environment without mercy. One of the most overlooked truths in personal growth is this: your environment shapes your mind more than you realize. You can have the best intentions, the strongest goals, and the deepest desire to change, but if you are surrounded by chaos, noise, distractions, or toxic influences, your progress will constantly be pulled backward. Buddhism teaches us that everything arises in dependence. Our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are not born in isolation. They are deeply connected to what surrounds us. Just as a flower needs the right soil, light, and air to bloom, your personal growth needs the right environment to take root. Take a moment to look around you, physically, mentally, emotionally. What fills your space? Is your room cluttered with objects you don't use or need? Are you constantly bombarded with notifications, news, or noise that stress you out? Are the people in your life supportive and peaceful? Or do they constantly complain, gossip, and pull you into negativity? Your environment is not just what's outside of you. It's what enters you through your senses, through your energy, through your habits. Buddhist monks live in temples designed for stillness. Clean lines, open spaces, minimal possessions. Everything around them is built to reflect clarity and intention. But you don't need to live in a monastery to benefit from this wisdom. You can begin with small, powerful changes. Clean your space, not just for the sake of being tidy, but as a way of telling your mind, this is a place of peace. This is where I grow. Get rid of things that no longer serve your life. Physical clutter creates mental clutter, and the more space you clear, the more clarity you gain. Next, take an honest look at the digital world you live in. How many hours do you lose scrolling through meaningless content? How often do you check your phone when you're bored or anxious? Each time you do, you reinforce a pattern of distraction. Buddhism teaches mindfulness, being fully aware of what you're doing and why. Audit your apps, silence your notifications, create tech-free spaces in your home where your attention can rest. Your focus is sacred. Don't let it be stolen by things that offer nothing in return. Now go deeper. Audit the emotional environment you're living in. Who do you spend time with? Do they uplift you or drain you? Do they inspire you or keep you stuck in the same story? Sometimes growth means making difficult decisions, like creating distance from people who constantly bring negativity, even if they're close to you. Buddhism is not about judgment. It's about compassion with clarity. You can love someone and still recognize that their energy is not right for your journey right now. Audit your internal environment. What thoughts do you feed yourself daily? Are you kind to yourself, or are you constantly criticizing, doubting, and belittling yourself? Your inner world is part of your environment too. If your mind is filled with fear, self-hate, or limiting beliefs, you won't move forward no matter how much you try. Start speaking to yourself with more kindness, more truth, more patience. Your self-talk creates the mental atmosphere in which all your actions grow. This practice, auditing your environment without mercy, is not about being harsh. It's about being honest. You can't build a better life on top of chaos. You must create space for peace. You must protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Every distraction, every toxic voice, every piece of clutter is a weight on your growth. Let it go. Your surroundings matter. Your space matters. Your energy matters. If you want to rise higher, remove what keeps pulling you down. Be ruthless in what you allow into your life. Not because you're cold, but because you're committed. You're not just decorating a room. You're designing a reality where your best self can breathe, expand, and thrive. So ask yourself now, what in my environment is not helping me become who I want to be? Then begin, piece by piece, moment by moment, to clear the way. You don't need perfection. You need intention, clean space, quiet mind, supportive people, and the courage to choose peace over comfort. This is how you rise, not through pressure, but through alignment. Not through willpower alone, but through creating a world around you that pulls you forward naturally. Clean the soil, protect the seed. Let your life bloom. When people hear the word discipline, they often think of something harsh, something rigid, controlling, or unpleasant. Many associate it with punishment, restriction, or self-denial. But in Buddhist philosophy, discipline, known as sila, is something entirely different. It's not about forcing yourself to live under strict rules. It's about lovingly guiding your life with intention. It's about honoring yourself enough to make choices that protect your peace, sharpen your mind, and support your deepest values. Imagine this. If you truly loved yourself, wouldn't you want to take care of your body, your mind, your time, and your energy? Wouldn't you want to make choices that help you grow stronger, clearer, and more free? That is what discipline really is. It's not a prison, it's a form of self-respect. In Buddhism, discipline is one of the foundations of the Eightfold Path. It's seen not as something that limits you, but as something that sets you free from chaos. Without discipline, your desires take over. Your impulses lead the way. You keep chasing quick pleasure and end up with long-term pain. But when you bring discipline into your daily life, not as a punishment, but as a practice, you begin to feel in control, calm, aligned. So how do you turn discipline into your love language? You start by changing your mindset. Stop thinking of discipline as something you have to do. Start seeing it as something you get to do. You get to wake up early and move your body, not because you hate yourself, but because you love the strength it gives you. You get to eat mindfully, not to deprive yourself, but to nourish the only body you'll ever have. You get to say no to distractions, not because you're boring, but because your time and attention are precious. Think of someone you love deeply. You'd do anything to protect their well-being, right? Now imagine directing that same devotion toward yourself. That's discipline. Waking up early, meditating, journaling, setting boundaries, going to sleep on time, saying no to temptations that lead nowhere. These are not restrictions. These are declarations of self-love. And remember, discipline doesn't have to mean perfection. In fact, rigid perfectionism often leads to burnout and shame. Buddhist discipline is about balance. It's about showing up for yourself consistently, not flawlessly. You're allowed to fall off track. What matters is that you return gently, patiently, with compassion. Like a parent guiding a child, you bring yourself back, not with anger, but with care. Over time, this way of living becomes second nature. You begin to enjoy the feeling of waking up with purpose. You start to crave the stillness of meditation, the clarity of structure, the freedom of being in control of your choices. What once felt like discipline now feels like peace, like joy, like strength. This is how true transformation happens, not by punishing yourself into change, but by loving yourself into alignment. You begin to build rituals that support your evolution. You develop the ability to say no when it matters, and yes to what truly serves you. You stop chasing easy pleasure and start building deep satisfaction. So the next time you think of discipline, don't see it as something cold or rigid. See it as an act of devotion to your highest self. Let it be your love language, the way you say every day, I care about my life, I care about my mind, I care about my future. Because when discipline comes from love, it doesn't feel like control, it feels like freedom. And in that freedom, you'll discover a version of yourself that is clear, powerful, and unstoppable. Not because you're forcing life to obey you, but because you finally learn to live in harmony with your truest values. Discipline is not what you do to escape yourself. It's what you practice to come home to who you truly are. 7. Reflect before you rest. In our busy, always-on world, it's become normal to collapse into bed at night with a cluttered mind and an anxious heart. We scroll through our phones, distract ourselves, or fall asleep thinking about everything that went wrong. Then we wake up and do it all over again, rushing through life without ever stopping to ask a simple, powerful question. What did I learn today? But Buddhist teachings remind us that reflection isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the mirror that shows us who we're becoming. Without reflection, there's no real growth. We move through life reacting to everything but learning nothing. But when we take just a few quiet minutes before bed to sit in stillness and honestly look at our day, we give ourselves something even more valuable than sleep: awareness. To reflect before you rest means to pause and look inward with curiosity and kindness. Ask yourself, how did I show up today? Don't judge, just notice. Was I patient or reactive? Did I move with purpose or simply go through the motions? What energized me? What drained me? What did I do well, and what might I do differently tomorrow? These gentle questions open the door to deeper self-awareness. And self-awareness is where all meaningful change begins. Buddhism teaches that we're not just passengers in life. We are the creators of our experience through our thoughts, actions, and habits. When you take time to reflect before you rest, you begin to see how your actions shape your emotions. You start to notice patterns, like how skipping your meditation made you feel more tense, or how a kind word to a stranger lifted your mood. These small insights lead to quiet, lasting growth. Reflection is also a way to let go. Many of us carry the weight of the day into our sleep. We replay awkward conversations, regrets, or mistakes. We judge ourselves harshly or get stuck wishing things had gone differently. But when you reflect with intention, you begin to release. You forgive yourself. You thank the day for what it taught you, even if the lesson was hard. You breathe out the tension and make room for rest. In Buddhism, this is part of mindful closure, ending the day with grace instead of guilt. And reflection doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a fancy journal or a long ritual. Just a few quiet moments. Sit or lie down. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Gently replay your day like a calm, kind observer. Smile at the moments you're proud of. Acknowledge the ones that challenged you. Then set a simple intention for tomorrow. It could be something like, I will listen more, or I will slow down. Let that intention rest in your heart as you drift off to sleep. Over time, this small nightly habit becomes a powerful anchor. You'll start to notice your days feel more connected. You'll become more thoughtful, more aware, more grounded. You'll stop repeating the same patterns, not because you're forcing change, but because you're becoming more mindful. And from mindfulness, everything begins to shift. Many people chase growth by doing more, reading more books, setting more goals, chasing more success. But Buddhism teaches that real growth often happens in stillness, in quiet observation, in simply sitting with yourself and being honest about your day. There is deep wisdom in that. When you reflect before you rest, you plant the seeds of tomorrow's clarity. You end the day not in chaos, but in calm. And you remind yourself that every day holds a lesson, if you're willing to listen. So tonight, before you lay your head down, give yourself the gift of reflection. Don't just fall into sleep, fall into awareness. Let your day speak to you one last time, and as you close your eyes, release what no longer serves you, and hold on to what helps you grow. This is how true evolution begins, not by rushing into the next day, but by learning from the one you just lived. Rest becomes deeper, growth feels more natural, and life, one day at a time, becomes a practice in mindfulness, presence, and purpose. Getting better every day isn't about chasing perfection or overwhelming yourself with big goals. It's about starting a quiet revolution within. It's about small, steady changes that align you with clarity, discipline, presence, and intention. Buddhism reminds us that true transformation doesn't come from dramatic events, but from the everyday choices we make with awareness. When you begin your morning in a way that nourishes you, you set the tone for peace. When you choose one clear intention, you give your energy direction. When you break harmful patterns with compassion, you begin to change your future. When you track your energy instead of your time, you start living in alignment with your true nature. When you clear your space, inside and out, you create room for focus and freedom. When you treat discipline as an act of self-respect, you gain control over your mind. And when you reflect before you rest, you end the day with wisdom instead of worry. These aren't just habits. They are sacred practices, quiet acts of self-respect. Each one brings you closer to the person you're meant to be, not through pressure, but through alignment. So begin where you are, with one breath, one step, one choice. The journey isn't about becoming someone else. It's about returning to your true self, more awake, more alive than ever. Thank you for walking this path. May your days be mindful, may your growth be peaceful, and may you continue to rise quietly, gently, and powerfully.